Hey guys, it's Trey here, back again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over what are variables. So if you didn't catch the last video, we talked about what programming is, why it's used, and why you should learn it. So if you haven't seen that video, please go watch it, and then you can come back to this one. All right, so let's discuss what are variables. Variables are basically, in its most basic form, they are just a placeholder for a value. All right. So I'm going to use an analogy here with a real world example. So let's say we have a coffee cup, right? The cup itself would be the variable. And then inside of whatever's inside of that cup would be the value. So if we put some coffee in this cup, that will be the value of the variable. So the variable itself is the cup, and then the value of that variable is the coffee that's inside of the cup. All right. So we're going to take this real world example and put it into programming so you can see how to actually declare a variable. So before we can do this example, you have to install Node Js. I'm running a Debian Linux on this computer here. I have some bash commands here that you can run to install Node JS on your computer. All right. And I'm just going to run through these steps so you can see how to do it and install it on your machine. All right. So we're going to type in sudo apt update. And what this is going to do is update your packages to get them ready to install Node. So we're going to hit enter. You might have to type in your password if you haven't done that in a while. So I just updated my packages, and now I'm going to install Node Js and Npm. So we're going to run sudo apt install Node Js and Npm. You hit enter, it'll install. As you can see, I already have the newest versions installed for both. So once you have them installed, you can check to see if they successfully installed by running commands 3 and 4. So we're going to check if Node is installed by saying node-v, and if you have a version that comes back, then you have installed it properly. And then let's do the same thing for npm. So we'll type in npm-v, hit enter, and I see that I have a version installed for that as well, which means we have successfully installed Node and npm. Npm just stands for Node Package Manager. It's a package management tool. So now let's get down here to the meat and potatoes of actually declaring a variable. So on line 14 is where we actually declare our variable. So we're going to continue with the coffee mug example. We'll go through this line and I'll explain what each part is doing, okay? So we start off here and we use this let keyword. So this let keyword basically tells JavaScript that whatever comes after this is going to be establishing a variable, all right? After this, we're going to put the name of our variable, which is cup. So this is going to be our coffee mug. And we'll just call it cup. All right. And then we're going to say have this equal sign. This equal sign basically is telling JavaScript that we are going to assign a value to this cup variable. All right. So we're going to say this cup will be assigned, and then we'll pass in a value. So we're going to pass in this value of coffee, and we're going to put it in single quotations. All right. So we're passing in this value of coffee. So now we have a cup with a value of coffee, and that is our variable. That's it. That's how you declare a variable. Now this is where the power of a variable comes in. Now whenever we want to use this coffee, whenever we want to reference this coffee, all we have to do is call this cup. So we're going to do that here, and we're going to print out the value of the cup to the screen. Okay, that's what line 15 is doing. So in JavaScript, if you want to print something out to the screen, you type in console.log, and then you add some parentheses here, and inside of the parentheses you put what you want to print out. In this case, we want to print out the cup, the value of the cup. So when we run this, it's not going to print out the word cup. It's going to print out what the value of this variable is, which is coffee, and it's going to print it out without the quotations. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and see it in action. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to type in node, and then we're going to type in the name of our file, which is up here. It's pf_lesson_2.js. So let's type that in, pf_lesson_2.js. And then we're going to hit enter. And as we can see, it printed out the word coffee because that is the value of this variable. All right. So that's how it's used, and that's how you declare a variable. So hopefully you understand what a variable is. Let's recap. A variable is basically just a placeholder for a value. In our case, we used a coffee cup that had a value of coffee, and we were using that variable to print out the value that we had stored in it. As you go along, this concept will get easier and easier because you will be using these in pretty much every program that you write. Don't let it confuse you right now. Just keep going, keep trekking along, and I promise you this will be the first concept that you understand. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next video.